Just our last two now. Okay. Okay, last two. E. What type of function do we have? Type of function. Okay, we have the square again, right? So we have a square, so we have a quadratic. Okay, so we have a quadratic function. Adrian, parabola going downwards. Yes, you are correct. Okay, so quadratic parabola is the shape. Okay, so it is going downwards, and how did you know that? The negative, good. So we have a negative here in front of our A value. Okay, so that -2 means the parabola is going to go face downwards. Okay, so I'm not going to draw anything yet, so I know it's going downwards. But now we have a +1 and a +6 here. Okay, in the previous question, if it was a plus at the end, we went up 3 units. So this one we're going to go up 6. Up 6 units, okay? What does this 1 do inside of the brackets?
Moves it left and right.
Moves it left and right, okay, good. So just a reminder that inside the brackets, it's the opposite. Okay, it's the opposite. So it looks like it should go to the right one, but it's always the opposite. So when we remove the 1, it actually goes to the left 1 unit. Okay, so we're gonna do a whole bunch of these tomorrow. So this actually goes to the left 1, and this is up 6. And this is facing down. Open and down. Okay, so roughly I'm gonna sketch it out. So we're gonna go 1 to the right, 1 to the left, and 6 up. So say that's 6, this is 1, and we're opening downwards. And if you're not sure, just plug values into the equation. Plug values in and see what you get. This here is also the vertex, right? So 1 and 6 is the vertex. Okay, domain and range. So again, we have a quadratic, so XER is your domain, because it's all our positive values, all our negative values. And now our range, YER. Okay, and what's our restrictions on Y?
Less than or equal to 6.
Perfect. Okay, so Y is less than or equal to 6. Because 6 is the highest point. Okay, so all our Y values are below 6. All right, F, last one. It's kind of a tricky one. So we have to do a little bit of work beforehand. But going from what we learned on Friday, what type of function do we have here?
Square root function.
Thank you, square root function, okay? With the square root. Okay, so what happens here is usually in the brackets, it should be X then the number, okay? So they reversed it here. So you can think about this being in brackets because it's under the square root sign. So I'm just gonna reverse it first. So we're gonna have a -x plus 4. negative x plus 4. So what we're gonna learn in, is it next lesson? I don't know if it's the next lesson or the one after. Might be the one after, 1.6, okay? So we never did, you guys have never worked with a negative x value. Okay, you've worked with a negative a value, okay, so a negative in front here, but you've never worked with one inside the bracket. So we're gonna introduce this later on in the course, but I just wanna give you just something, just in case for the homework. I think they have one of these questions. Yeah, they have it in question 9. So what this is, the negative and the x here, it's called a k value. Okay, we're gonna learn about this again. So it's a k value. So it's very, very similar to the a value. So the a value reflects it over the x value, or over the x-axis. Okay, so it reflects up and down. Okay, but the k value goes over the y-axis. So it flips it this way. So we have a reflection over the y as opposed to a reflection over the x. One of the key things with a k value is you always have to factor it out. Okay? So what I mean here is the negative has to be separated from this equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out a negative 1. We're going to take a negative 1 out from the equation. You guys can see this okay? If I remove a negative 1 from the x, or I divide it out, so you divide out a negative 1, you get a positive x. And if I factor out a negative 1 from the 4, so when we're factoring, we're dividing. So negative 4 divided by negative 1 will give me a negative 4. Okay, so what happens? So don't copy this out just yet. I'm just gonna draw the parent function. Okay, so the parent function looks something like this. It starts at the origin, is only in quadrant 1, and it kind of goes up. It's a half parabola, okay, and it goes up towards the right, okay? But now, I'm gonna leave the x value alone. We have a negative 4 here. What is the negative 4 due to the graph? That's the k, just the negative 4. So it's very similar to this one here. Okay, we have the plus 1 in the bracket. Now we have a negative 4 in the bracket. What would it do?
Does it move it left and right again?
Yep, moves it left or right. Okay, now it's opposite. So we have a negative 4. Okay, so the negative 4, you think it would go left, but it's always the opposite, so it goes to the right. So it's going to go 4 units to the right. So say about here. Okay, but don't copy it out yet. So now we've moved 4 units to the right. And now what the k value does, so the k value is negative 1, it flips it. Okay, it doesn't flip it over the x, it flips it this way. So the negative 1 here now reflects the square root and it goes this way. Okay, so no longer going to the right, now it's going to the left. And again, we'll do a whole bunch of these coming up later in the chapter. It's just I'm throwing this here because there is a question in the homework that has this. Okay, so again, 4 to the right, 4 units to the right. This negative 1 reflects it this way. Okay, so now it reflects, instead of going right, it goes left. As opposed to a negative a value, which would flip it this way. Okay, so the k value flips it. Instead of right, it goes left now. Okay, so the domain. So XER and our range YER. Okay, what values of x do we use? What x values can we use?
X is less than or greater to 4. I mean, X is less than or equal to, sorry.
Good. Okay, so here is our x values. We don't have any x values greater than 4. We have all our values less than 4. So x is less than or equal to 4. Good. Okay, so everything less than 4. And our y values, Leah had it too as well. So did Adrian, good. So what's our y values now? Greater than or equal to 0, good. Okay, so we don't have anything less than the x-axis, that's y equals 0, right? So y is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so for most of them, you should be able to do them linear quadratics, okay? This was the trickiest as it's gonna get into the homework. Again, we'll be doing more of these throughout the chapter. We're actually going to be doing a ton of these. Okay, so if you're not too sure about the K value, just leave it for now. If it comes to the homework, or try it. And then if you don't get it at all, then we'll ask in the afternoon sessions, we'll take up homework. Okay, that is the last question. So homework is here. Page 35, numbers 1 to 4, 5, 7, 9, and 11. Okay, I put a star in 4. I'm trying to think why. Number 4, you don't need to graph it. Okay, if you want to, you can do like a really rough sketch. Okay, for number 4, but you do not need to graph it. Okay, so just do domain and range. So 1 to 4, why did I do that? 1 to 4, or I should just did 1 to 5. 1 to 5, 7, 9, and 11. Just know that number 7 is a circle. Okay, we did circle last week. And yeah, they all should be good then. Right, that's the only lesson we're going to be doing today. I was looking at the weekend, and a lot of the lessons are pretty heavy. So I didn't want to do another one today because it's a brand new topic for you guys, which is inverse function tomorrow. So I didn't want to add another lesson to it. So you guys, I'll be teaching it to the morning class, and then I'll post the video for you guys tomorrow to watch.